Even if you're not a history buff, you've probably heard of the Library of Alexandria. It was built in the 3rd century BCE, while Mediterranean thinkers like Euclid and Archimedes were working on radical new scientific concepts, like geometry and engineering. The library was first conceived by Alexander the Great, both as a testament to the size and power of his empire, and as a means of collecting the wealth of knowledge from all the lands he'd conquered, translating them into Greek, and thus Hellenizing his dominion under a common language and cultural identity. Though Alexander died before his library was built, his successors, Ptolemy I and Ptolemy II, followed through on his plan, amassing one of the greatest troves of recorded knowledge in the ancient world. In order to manage this collection, they hired the Homeric scholar Xenodidus to serve as its first superintendent. The library housed roughly 500,000 scrolls on subjects ranging from science to law to philosophy to literature. Mostly written on papyrus, the scrolls were in perpetual danger of decay, and each had to be copied by hand and replaced periodically in order to preserve the knowledge it contained. It was Xenodidus's job to ensure not only that this cultural archive was preserved for the benefit of future generations, but that contemporary scholars could find the information they needed and contribute their own work to it as well. In order to accomplish this Herculean task, Xenodidus developed several techniques that are still in use today. One of his principal innovations was to standardize some of the older texts in the library, for instance reconciling different versions of Homer's classic epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, and creating a single consistent version of each. Another technique was to classify the scrolls into what today we would call different genres, storing each set of related texts in its own room, dedicating one area solely to medical texts, for example, and another to poetry. He also introduced the handy idea of alphabetization, so it was easy to sort through an entire collection of scrolls and to figure out where to put one back once it was no longer in use.